Good evening, I'm David Kramer at the National Weather Service, the Alaska statewide weather. For the remainder of the day, we have a broad area of low pressure extending out across the Bering Sea, stretching down over the Alaska Peninsula and into the North Pacific. This is bringing snow to many of those locations where some rain is starting to creep in on the Pacific side of the Alaska Peninsula. To the south of the low pressure in the southern Bering Sea and Aleutian Islands, we do have some scattered snow showers out there with some fog for Bristol Bay and the Kuskokwim Delta. As we move up the western coast of the state, starting to see some more light snow and flurries that does also extend up along the Arctic coastline. As we move into the Brooks Range, some wind chills out there with some winds and very cold temperatures dropping down to 40 below, and that's going to extend into tomorrow. And then we are going to see some blowing snow as we get further to the west in the Brooks Range and through the Bering Strait and St. Lawrence Island area. Then along the Alaska Panhandle, we do have some areas of snow mixing with rain as we get further to the south. That's going to continue for tonight with more rain coming in with the southerly push in the Panhandle, but as we get closer towards Prince William Sound, going to be all snow there. The potential exists for the light flurries throughout much of the eastern part of the interior, up along the Arctic coastline and down the west coast, and in areas from the Bering Strait up through Kivalina and through much of the Brooks Range. We are going to see some blowing snow in those areas to the west and some wind chills continuing throughout the night, especially in those eastern portions of the Brooks Range. Down in the Bering Sea and Aleutian Islands, snow showers continuing through the night and into Tuesday with areas of fog near Bristol Bay, and still going to see some of that light snow and flurries throughout almost all of the interior and along the Arctic coastline, with wind chills starting to diminish as we get closer towards noon on Tuesday for the eastern parts of the Brooks Range, and then those blowing snow conditions out west through the Bering Strait and St. Lawrence Island area also starting to diminish, but some may last a little bit longer, especially in the Bering Strait, St. Lawrence Island area, closer towards 6 p.m. tonight, or Tuesday night. Then along the North Gulf Coast extending to the Panhandle, primarily snow, but going to start to mix with rain as we get into the southern portions of the Panhandle, which will continue on Wednesday, although it will start to lighten up as that low pressure starts to weaken out over the eastern part of the Gulf. Throughout much of the mainland part of the state, going to see a potential for some very light flurries in eastern parts of the interior, stretching down towards McGrath, and then the very eastern parts of the Arctic coastline. And even though no new snow for the Bering Strait and St. Lawrence Island area, with the gustier winds, could still see some blowing snow into Wednesday. Then in the southern Bering Sea, we do have a new low pressure coming up, bringing in some warmer air starting to transition over the snow to rain. For Alaska statewide weather, I'm David Kramer.